How many times have you heard that being in a caloric deficit is the key to losing fat? And how many of you are still struggling? Because here's the thing, while fat loss comes down to calories, there are still other factors that will influence your ability to adhere to this principle, which you may not have considered. For instance, if you choose a specific diet because you think it will work for you, but you can't stick to it in the long term, odds are your goal for fat loss will fail. So I'm gonna go over 3 reasons that may be keeping you from seeing success when it comes to losing weight. So number 1 is adherence. As I said earlier, if you can't stick to a specific diet long term, the odds of you seeing success will likely diminish. But what is the root cause of not being able to stick to your diet? Well, it's likely because you chose one that simply doesn't work for you. There are so many diets that promote themselves as being the best for fat loss, and if you're being bombarded by people around you claiming that theirs work the best, it can be exhausting to even pick one. In the end, you most likely settle for the one that you're sold on the most, even if it's not the best one for you. Research has shown in the end that fat loss comes down to your calories first and foremost. So if you adjust your calories appropriately and prioritize your protein intake, then your eating frequency, carb, and fat intake can all be adjusted to your preference. This is still the common denominator of all diets. Funny thing is, a lot of people who see success in specific diets don't like hearing this because I guess they feel like it kind of invalidates their efforts. But honestly, I see this statement as an absolute win for everyone, because what that means is that you have options and that you don't have to adopt a diet that you either hate or can't stick to. Number 2 is having a binary view of foods. Now this may sound like a stretch, but your psychology will greatly affect how successful you are when it comes to achieving virtually anything. And fat loss is no different. Unfortunately, a lot of people look at foods in a black or white perspective, which can cause you to view certain foods as good and others as bad. This approach will severely eliminate a lot of foods, which results in a more restrictive way of dieting. If you attach some sort of moral compass to your foods, then when you make a mistake, say if you have a cheat meal or you binge eat, your internal perception of yourself is negatively affected because you feel that you have done something morally wrong. Losing fat is already a sensitive topic for a lot of people, and the last thing you need is to adopt a psychology that attributes some sort of judgment on you. Instead, look at foods as something that you need to consume and that you can enjoy with moderation. Rather than seeing food as good or bad, view it from the perspective that some foods are probably better choices than others for your health in specific circumstances. I like to go by the 80-20 rule, which means that for 80% of my diet, I'm consuming minimally processed foods that are high in nutrients and keeps me satiated, and then 20% where I can indulge, whether it's because I have a small craving or because I want to enjoy a night out with friends. Regardless, as long as I'm making sure that my calories aren't going overboard, I don't restrict anything from my diet. And number 3 is not having a clear goal. Saying that you want to lose fat is a start, but how much? What is your goal weight? What is your goal body fat percentage? Do you know what the end in sight is? It is a lot easier to achieve something when you have it clearly defined. Now, I'm not saying that fat loss in and of itself isn't a clear goal, but a better way would be to define how much weight you want or need to lose. So if you need to lose 20 pounds, write that down and make sure that each weigh-in you do brings you closer to that objective. If you want to improve on that even further, break the goal down a little bit more. Let's say you want to lose 20 pounds, but that number seems too big and too far into the future. Then make your goal be to lose 10 pounds or even just 5 pounds. Once you reach that goal, lose another 5 pounds, and so on and so forth. Make your goals manageable, but also clearly defined. So to sum it up, fat loss still comes down to calories in versus calories out. There's just no way of getting around that. But that's only a surface level starting point. For each individual, there is so much more that goes into this process that people either don't consider or may even neglect. Sometimes the approach they take is completely counterproductive to their goal. So if you're struggling to lose weight, keep these 3 tips in mind. Addressing these things won't be an instant fix, but just by identifying the problem, you can put yourself on the right path. Anyway, that's it for today's session. I hope you found this video helpful, and by no means are these the only things that are keeping people from losing weight. But it is worth addressing these topics because, honestly, a lot of people just don't talk about it, and it may just be because it doesn't occur to them. But if you think I've left anything out, let me know down below in the comment section, or if you have any of your own suggestions. If you found this video helpful, consider crushing that like button and subscribe to the channel. But until then, I'll see you all next time.